Welcome once again to YouTube Evolution, where in this channel we analyze videos and insights from YouTube experts who explain how to grow your channel to talk about analytics, trends, and creator strategies.
Today we're doing something a bit different. We're diving into the financial side of things, really looking at the economics of buying traffic.
Absolutely. In today's episode, we'll discuss a famous YouTuber named Marcus Jones, who reportedly bought 5 million views to test how paid traffic affects YouTube performance. We'll break down his experiment, the results, and what creators can learn from it right here on YouTube Evolution.
Yeah, Marcus set himself a really ambitious task. He wanted to test 6, common ways people try to buy views and figure out if you can actually, pay your way to YouTube success.
But we're not just talking about view counts here, are we?
No, not at all. We're going deep. We're going to unpack the actual costs, look at the analytics behind those views, and really importantly, figure out the ROI, the return on investment for each method.
Right, the real value you get for your money.
Yeah.
And we're starting in the murky depths, aren't we? Section 1. The dark side of views, bots, and ClickFunnels.
Exactly. The really risky stuff. And we have to put a big warning label on this part. Buying these kinds of views, especially bot views, it's totally against YouTube's rules.
Seriously against the rules, like video deletion, channel termination, kind of serious. This was purely for research purposes.
Precisely. Educational purposes only. Don't try this at home, folks. Okay, so methodology. He started with these third-party sites. Pretty shady-looking places, I imagine.
He bought 2 types. The first was labeled regular views, which sounds innocent enough, but...
Yeah, regular views. Jones figured, and it seems pretty obvious, that these were just automated bots, programs designed to, inflate view counts.
How do they even work? Do they try to look real?
Well, the claim is they're sort of intelligent bots, designed to act kind of random, maybe use proxies, to try and trick the YouTube algorithm into thinking they're legit viewers, trying to mask their tracks, basically.
Okay. And the cost for these regular bot views?
Get this. He bought 10,000 of them for just $26. It was apparently on sale.
$26 for 10,000 views? I mean, you can see why people are tempted, right? That makes your video look popular instantly.
It does superficially. But here's the first catch, and it's a big one. The delivery time. It wasn't instant.
Oh, how long did it take?
The estimate was anywhere from 4 to 18 weeks.
18 weeks. That's insane.
Right. Imagine you have a video about, I don't know, a current event or a trend. By the time those views finally trickle in, maybe 4 months later, your video is ancient history. It's useless.
That's a massive red flag right there.
Oh.
Okay, what was the second shady method he tested?
This one was called real views. And the claim from the seller was that these came from, quote, real people with real accounts manually viewing your videos.
Real people. Sounds better, but... What does that actually mean in this context?
Jones suspected, and it's likely, that these come from things like ClickFunnels or, pay-to-click schemes. So technically, maybe a real person is clicking, but they're probably in a click farm somewhere getting paid fractions of a cent per view.
They're not watching because they're interested. They're watching because it's a task.
Exactly. Zero genuine engagement. And crucially, these real views cost more.
How much more?
He paid $52 for $10,000 of these. Exactly double the price of the bot views.
Okay, double the price. So the big question, did paying more actually get him anything better or safer? Did YouTube catch either of these?
Surprisingly, no. Both videos, the one with bot views and the one with the real views, received the full 10,000 purchased views. Neither got flagged or deleted during his test period.
So they slipped through the net. Initially, at least.
Seems like it. But just because YouTube didn't catch them immediately doesn't mean they're good. Now we need to look at the analytics, the actual performance. And this is where it gets, frankly, pretty depressing.
Let's start with the $26 bot views. What did that investment actually yield in terms of, useful metrics for channel growth?
Okay, so the cost per view was, yes, incredibly low. 0.26 cents per view. Dirt cheap.
But that's a vanity metric, right?
Totally. Let's look at watch hours. From those 10,000 views, he only got 78.4 total watch hours.
78 hours from 10,000 views? That sounds really bad.
It's terrible. Let's break down the cost per watch hour. It comes out to $34.95 per hour of watch time.
$35 an hour. Now, let's put that in perspective for creators trying to get monetized. You need 4,000 watch hours.
Right. So if you tried to get those 4,000 hours using only this bot method, based on these numbers, you'd have to spend roughly $398.
Okay, $1,400. Maybe that doesn't sound impossibly high to some people.
But here's the killer point. YouTube would almost certainly never approve a channel built on this kind of traffic for monetization. So that $1,400, it's effectively wasted. You get unusable hours. The real cost is infinite because the goal is unattainable this way.
Right, you spend the money, you get the hours on the dashboard, but you won't actually get monetized. What about subscribers, the other half of the requirement?
Even worse, those 10,000 bot views resulted in a grand total of 3 subscribers.
3 out of 10,000.
3, which means the cost per subscriber works out to $8.66.
$8.66 for one subscriber who's probably a bot or completely unengaged.
Exactly. So if you wanted to hit the 1,000 subscriber target this way, you'd be looking at spending a jaw-dropping $8,666.
Over $8,500 for 1,000 subscribers who add zero value to your channel. Wow.
Yeah. It makes absolutely no sense financially or strategically.
Okay, so the bots are terrible value.
Yeah.
Did the real views, the ones that cost $52, perform any better? Maybe the extra cost meant slightly better quality?
Nope. If anything, they were slightly worse value. The cost per view was higher, obviously, at 0.52 cents. The cost per watch hour jumped to $50 per watch hour. And the cost per subscriber went up to $13. So you paid double the money for less efficient results across the board.
It confirms they're basically the same thing, just marketed differently.
Pretty much. Just paying more for the same garbage, essentially.
Let's talk quality now. We know they're not real viewers, but how did YouTube even categorize this traffic? Did it look organic at all? Could it trick the algorithm?
That's a key question. The traffic source data tells the story. For the bot views, the vast majority, 7,230 views, came in as direct or unknown.
Which is the classic sign of shady traffic, right?
Exactly. It means YouTube couldn't figure out where they came from. Another 2,678 came from external. But the crucial part is looking at views driven by YouTube's own discovery systems like browse features or suggested videos.
How many of those did these purchase views trigger? Was there any organic lift?
Almost none. Those 10,000 purchase bot views resulted in only 15 views coming from browse or suggested later on.
15 out of 10,000. That's like 0.15%.
Precisely. And the real views triggered even fewer organic views. So this completely debunks that idea that you can just buy a bunch of views to kickstart the algorithm. It doesn't work. The algorithm sees the low quality
and the quality signals within the video. Retention, click-through rate.
Jones described the retention graphs as simply miserable. People clicked off almost instantly, and the click-through rate, the CTR, was only 2.4%.
Is 2.4% CTR really that bad?
In isolation, maybe not the worst ever, but Jones compared it directly. The exact same video, when posted organically by one of his students, had a much, much higher CTR. This shows the purchase traffic actively hurt the video's metrics compared to real viewers.
So low retention, low CTR tells the algorithm this video isn't engaging.
Exactly. It sends all the wrong signals. Plus, these views are almost certainly coming from low CPM countries, meaning even if they could generate ad revenue, it would be pennies. They're not going to become loyal fans.
Okay, verdict on these methods seems pretty clear. Totally worthless for actual growth, potentially harmful to your channel's standing with the algorithm, and definitely against the rules.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
So, how did Jones rank them in his tier list?
The bot views, regular views, landed in C tier. Why C and not lower? Well, they were the absolute cheapest per view, even if the views were useless, but still terrible.
And real views from ClickFunnels.
T tier. Because they did exactly the same useless job as the bots, maybe even slightly worse on some metrics, but cost twice as much. Just fundamentally flawed. Avoid.
Okay, let's pull back from the shadows now. We've established that the super cheap rule-breaking methods are a terrible idea. Let's look at the official YouTube-sanctioned ways to promote a video. Section 2, the official path YouTube promotions. Beta.
Right. So this is using the tool built directly into YouTube Studio. It's under the Promotions tab, currently labeled as Beta.
And how does it work? Is it complicated?
Actually, the setup is designed to be incredibly simple. You just choose the video you want to promote, select the country and language you're targeting, set your budget, and choose how long you want the campaign to run. That's basically it.
Sounds really easy. Maybe good for beginners who find Google Ads intimidating. But you mentioned a flaw.
Yes, a pretty significant one, especially for certain types of channels. The issue is targeting, or rather the lack of control over targeting.
What do you mean? You set the country and language.
You do, but that's it. YouTube doesn't let you, the creator, choose things like viewer interests, demographics, keywords, or specific placements. It decides who to show the ad to based on the data it already has about your channel.
Ah, so it looks at your past videos and your existing audience profile to guess who might like this new video.
Exactly. Which can be a problem if you're a brand new channel with almost no data history. YouTube has nothing to go on.
Or if you're a variety channel, right?
Yeah.
If you post about gaming one week and cooking the next, YouTube's algorithm might get confused about who your actual target audience is.
Precisely. You're kind of just trusting the algorithm to figure it out, and it might not have enough good data to make smart choices. You might end up showing your ad to completely the wrong people.
Okay, that lack of control is definitely a drawback.
Yeah.
Let's look at the performance. Jones ran a $100 test campaign. What were the results?
So that $100 spend generated a huge number of impressions, 300,000 times the ad was shown. But that only translated into 580 actual views.
1,580 views from 300K impressions. That conversion rate seems quite low.
It is. But here's the interesting part. It also generated 240 subscribers.
Okay, 240 subscribers is significant. Let's break down the costs, though. First, cost per view.
The cost per view came out to 6.3 cents, which is, way higher than the fraction of a cent for bots, but these are presumably real people clicking.
And the cost per watch hour. How did that compare to the bots' $35, $50 range?
Much better than the bots, but still quite high. It worked out to $7.70 per watch hour.
$7.70 per watch hour. Okay, let's do the math again for the 4,000 hour monetization goal.
Right. If you are relying solely on YouTube promotions to get those 4,000 hours, at $7.70 an hour, you'd need to spend roughly $30,800.
$30,000?
Yeah.
Okay, so clearly this is not an efficient way to farm watch hours for monetization. That's incredibly expensive.
Extremely expensive for that specific goal. But remember those 240 subscribers? That's where this method suddenly looks very different.
What was the cost per subscriber?
This was the surprise gem. Jones calculated the average cost per subscriber using YouTube promotions was just 41 cents.
41 cents, compared to like $8 or $13 for the dodgy methods.
Exactly. Dramatically cheaper. It turned out to be the cheapest method for acquiring subscribers out of everything he tested by a huge margin.
So if your main goal is purely hitting that 1,000 subscriber threshold, maybe to unlock community posts or just meet the monetization requirement, this is actually the most cost-effective, legit way to do it.
It seems to be, yes. You could potentially get your 1,000 subscribers for around $410 using this tool. That's actually pretty accessible.
That is a game changer for that specific metric. But what about the perennial fear? Did running this promotion hurt the video's organic reach?
Jones looked at this closely. He showed a graph where the ad campaign period was marked. And during that time, the organic traffic lines views from browse and suggested stayed completely flat.
No drop, but also no boost.
Correct. It seems the ad campaign ran in its own little bubble. It didn't negatively impact organic reach, but it also didn't seem to trigger any additional organic promotion from the algorithm. They were separate traffic streams.
Okay, so it doesn't kill your video, which is good news. What about the quality of those cheap subscribers and views? Were they actually watching?
The quality was a bit mediocre. The average view duration for the views generated by the promotion was only 31 seconds.
31 seconds, that's not very long.
No, he called it pretty underwhelming. It suggests people clicked the ad, maybe subscribed quickly, but didn't stick around to watch much of the video itself. High volume of subs, maybe lower engagement per sub.
Okay, summing up YouTube promotions. Beta, super easy setup. Terrible, like really expensive for watch hours, but surprisingly, the absolute cheapest way to get subscribers legitimately. No targeting control, and the viewer quality is a bit iffy.
That's a good summary, which led Jones to place it in
B-tier.
B-tier, exactly. It's got one very strong specific use case, cheap subs, which saves it from being lower tier despite the awful watch hour cost and lack of targeting.
Right, it's a specialist tool. Okay, now we move on to the big one. The platform where the serious money was spent. Section 3. Google Ads.
Yep, this is where Jones did the bulk of his testing, spending around $8,000 in total across different Google Ads campaigns to buy over 5.4 million views. This is the professional leagues of paid promotion on YouTube.
5 million views bought.
Yes.
That's a serious experiment. How does the general setup for Google Ads differ from the simple YouTube Promotions tab?
It's much more complex, but also vastly more powerful. You have way more control. Jones recommended setting up a campaign without goals guidance to get maximum flexibility. You select your video. Crucially, you remove video partners on the Google Display Network.
Why is removing video partners so important? We touched on this.
Yeah, it's key. If you leave that checked, your video ad might show up on random websites or in mobile game apps that are part of Google's network, but not on YouTube itself. Those views are generally lower quality, lower intent. You want your ads shown to people already on YouTube.
Got it. Keep the ads within the YouTube ecosystem. What else?
Set your campaign budget and duration. And importantly, Jones noted that running campaigns for a longer duration often helps because it gives Google's optimization algorithms more time to learn and find the right audience, potentially lowering your costs over time.
Okay, makes sense. Let the machine learn. Now, he tested several strategies within Google Ads. Let's start with the first one. Untargeted in-stream ads. What was the goal here?
Pure volume at the lowest possible cost. This was designed to just rack up view counts as cheaply as possible using Google Ads.
How did he achieve that? What was the targeting strategy, or lack thereof?
The strategy was basically anti-targeting specific valuable audiences. He selected a long list of countries known to have very low advertising costs, low CPMs, but that still had a significant number of English speakers. Think countries in Southeast Asia, maybe parts of Eastern Europe or South America.
So target widely in cheap regions where people still understand the language of the video?
Exactly. Get the maximum number of impressions and clicks for the minimum spend. The ad format used was the standard skippable in-stream ad, the pre-roll that plays before the video you actually wanted to watch.
Right, the one everyone skips after 5 seconds.
Yeah.
And the call to action.
A simple Watch Now button that, if clicked, would ideally lead the viewer to the channel page.
Okay, so cheap countries, skippable ads. How did this perform? What were the costs like compared to bots or YouTube promotions?
This strategy was remarkably effective for raw cost. Based on his tests, the average cost per view was just 1.1 cents.
1 cent, that's almost as cheap as the bots.
It's the second cheapest overall, yeah.
Right.
Only the 0.26 cent bots were cheaper per view. And crucially, these are real views processed through Google's system, so they're policy compliant.
Okay, incredibly cheap views. What about watch hours? Bots were terrible, YouTube promotions was expensive. Where did this land?
Pretty good, actually. The cost per watch hour averaged around $39.
$39. Okay, that's comparable to the bot cost per hour. But again, these are legitimate views. So much better than the YouTube promotions cost for hours.
Definitely. If your goal is just getting bulk watch hours relatively cheaply and safely, this method looks strong.
But what about subscribers? We saw YouTube promotions was amazing for that. How did this cheap, untargeted method do?
Not great. The cost per subscriber was around $10.
$10 per sub. So similar to the bots again, and way, way more expensive than the 41 cents from YouTube promotions.
Right. It clearly shows what this campaign type is optimized for. Cheap views and cheap watch hours. It's not designed to build a loyal, subscribed audience. The viewers from these low CPM countries clicking on a skippable ad, they're just not converting into fans.
Makes sense. High volume, low loyalty. Now, this brings us back to that big debate. Does running ads like this kill your organic reach? Jones mentioned the Spiffing Brit video example where it looked like ads tanked organic views. What did his $8,000 experiment conclude?
His conclusion, based on testing across millions of views, was pretty definitive. No, running ads does not inherently kill your organic growth. He found very little evidence of that happening in most cases.
So what was going on in those examples where organic views seemed to drop when ads started?
Jones suggested that in many of those cases, the video's organic momentum was likely already slowing down naturally. You know, the video had peaked and was starting to decline anyway. The ad traffic coming in might just mask that decline, or the timing is coincidental.
So the ads weren't the cause of the organic drop, the video was just naturally running out of steam.
That was his assessment. He explicitly said he saw no noticeable impact of the algorithm punishing his videos just because he bought ads. The two systems, paid promotion and organic recommendations, seem to operate largely independently.
That's actually huge news for creators. It removes a major fear associated with paid promotion.
Absolutely. It suggests you can use ads strategically without worrying you're actively sabotaging your organic potential.
Okay, so untargeted in-stream ads. Pros are super cheap views, pretty good costs for watch hours, and it's policy compliant. Cons are terrible cost per subscriber, low viewer loyalty, and low potential ad revenue from those views due to the low CPM geos.
Correct, which is why it landed in
A tier.
a tier. It's the king for high volume, low cost, compliant views and watch hours. If you just need to hit a big number cheaply, this is the way using Google Ads.
Okay, that's the volume play. What about quality? Let's talk about campaign type 2, targeted in-stream ads. How did this differ?
This is where the strategy shifts from pure volume to attracting a more valuable, relevant audience. The main tweak was the targeting. First, he removed all those cheap, low CPM countries from the targeting list. Instead, he focused only on high-value, high CPM locations like the United States, Canada, the UK, Australia, etc.
Targeting viewers who are worth more to advertisers.
Exactly. And second, he added layers of interest and keyword targeting. So if the video was about video editing, he'd target people interested in video editing software or searching for related keywords, trying to reach people actually interested in the topic.
Makes perfect sense. You pay more per view, presumably, but you get a viewer who is much more likely to be genuinely interested, potentially subscribe, watch longer, and be more valuable to sponsors or for AdSense. What was the cost trade-off?
It was significant. Across the campaigns using this targeted approach, the average cost per view went up to 1.6 cents.
Okay, still cheap, but about 50% more expensive than the untargeted 1.1 cents. Manageable. What about watch hours and subscribers?
This is where the costs really ballooned, surprisingly. The average cost per watch hour using targeted in-stream ads skyrocketed to $142.
$142 per watch hour. That's astronomical. Way worse than even the YouTube promotions beta.
Right. It's incredibly inefficient for generating watch time. And the cost per subscriber was also very high, averaging $35.85.
$36 for a subscriber. That's also terrible.
Yeah.
Why is this format so bad at converting valuable viewers into watch time and subscribers, even when they're supposedly targeted and interested?
Jones identified this as the friction problem inherent in the in-stream ad format itself.
Explain that. What's the friction?
Think about how you experience a skippable in-stream ad. You're trying to watch something else, this ad pops up, you're probably annoyed, waiting for the skip ad button. Your intent is ad avoidance.
Right.
For you to actually subscribe from that ad, you first have to resist skipping, then you have to notice and click the little link or button within the ad, not the skip button, which takes you away from the video you originally wanted to watch over to the channel page. And then you have to decide to hit subscribe.
That's a lot of steps, a lot of points where the viewer can just bail out.
Exactly. That multi-step process, that inherent friction, just kills the conversion rate for watch time and subscriptions, even if the person might have been vaguely interested in the topic. The ad format itself works against engagement.
So even though you're paying more to reach a better viewer, the delivery mechanism is just really inefficient for converting them.
Precisely. It's a high-friction environment.
So where does this land on the tier list? It attracts a high-quality audience, which is good for branding. And you don't need existing channel data, like the promotions beta, but the costs for engagement are terrible.
It landed in B tier. It is a purpose reaching specific, valuable demographics without needing prior channel data, but it's just too costly and inefficient for general channel growth metrics like watch hours or subs.
Okay, B tier it is. Now, the final Google Ads campaign type, in-feed ads. These used to be called discovery ads, right? How are they different?
They are fundamentally different in where and how they appear. In-feed ads don't play before another video. Instead, they show up within YouTube feeds, like on the homepage feed, in search results, or in the up next sidebar alongside videos you're watching.
And critically, how do they look?
They look almost exactly like a regular organic video thumbnail recommendation. Same size, same format, just with a small ad disclaimer.
So they blend in much more naturally. What's the advantage of that?
The huge advantage is low friction. Because it looks like a normal video suggestion, when someone clicks on it, they are intentionally choosing to watch that specific video based on its thumbnail and title.
They're not trying to skip it. They're actively clicking to view it.
Exactly. Their mindset is, I want to watch this, not, an ad. And when they click, they land directly on the video's watch page within your channel interface. The subscribe button, the like button, everything is right there, just like a normal video view.
So theoretically, this should lead to much better engagement and easier conversions, right? Because the viewer intent is higher and the path to subscribing is shorter.
That's the theory. Let's look at the results. How did it actually perform on costs?
Okay, what was the cost per view for these in-feed ads?
This was actually the most expensive Google ad campaign type per view, averaging around 6 cents per view.
6 cents. So similar to the YouTube promotions beta cost per view and much higher than either in-stream method. That's the downside.
It is. You pay more for that initial click because it's a higher intent click and a more premium placement. But here's where it gets really interesting. Watch hours.
Okay, given the $142 disaster with targeted in-stream, I'm bracing myself. What was the cost per watch hour for in-feed?
Get this. It was only 95 cents per watch hour.
95 cents.
Yeah.
down from $142 for targeted in-stream, and even way down from $39 for untargeted in-stream. That's incredible.
It's remarkably efficient for watch time. Because people who clicked were genuinely interested, they tended to watch much longer, driving that cost per hour way, way down. It validates the low-friction, high-intent theory.
That's amazing. So for building watch hours needed for monetization, using real engaged viewers, this seems like the best method by far, even if the initial view cost is higher.
It really does seem to be the sweet spot for quality watch time accumulation via ads.
Okay, but wait. If the friction is low and watch time is great, surely the subscriber cost must have been the best too, right? Better than YouTube promotion's 41 cents.
You'd think so, wouldn't you? But surprisingly, no. While Jones didn't give an exact average figure for in-feed subscriber cost across all tests, he indicated it was still relatively high, certainly much higher than the 41 cents from YouTube promotions, and maybe even comparable to the less effective in-stream methods in some cases.
Like counterintuitive.
Yeah.
Why would people watch longer but not subscribe more easily?
It's hard to say for sure. Maybe the context where the ad is shown, example, search results versus homepage feed, influences the likelihood to subscribe. Maybe the promotion's beta interface has some specific psychological triggers for subscribing. Or maybe the type of person clicking an in-feed ad is more focused on the specific video content than on joining the channel community. It's an interesting quirk in the data.
Okay, so in-feed ads. Most expensive Google ad per click, but by far the most efficient at turning that click into valuable watch hours, 95-cent hour. Easier for viewers to subscribe due to low friction, but paradoxically, not the cheapest method for subscriber acquisition overall.
That sums it up well.
Tier ranking for in-feed.
Also B tier.
Yeah.
Like the other B tier methods, it excels at one thing in this case, generating high-quality watch hours very efficiently. The high cost per view keeps it out of A tier, but its unique strength makes it incredibly valuable for that specific goal.
Okay, wow. We've covered a lot of ground, 6 different methods, millions of views. Let's try to bring it all together in Section 4. Final synthesis and key takeaways. Can you recap the overall tier list one more time?
Sure. At the top, A tier. Google in-stream, untargeted. Best for pure, cheap, compliant volume of views and watch hours.
Then the B tier, the specialists.
Right. B tier holds. YouTube promotions, Jada, the king of cheap subscribers, targeted Google in-stream best for reaching specific high-value demographics despite high engagement costs. And Google in-feed ads the champion for efficient, high-quality watch hour generation.
And the ones to avoid.
C tier. Bot views cheap but useless and risky. D tier. ClickFunnels views just expensive. C tier. Stay away.
Now, let's crystallize the absolute cheapest path for each key metric based on this data. Cheapest views.
Technically, bot views were cheapest per view, but the cheapest legitimate method was Google in-stream untargeted at 1.1 cents per view.
Cheapest watch hours.
Again, bots look cheapest on paper, 35 per hour, but were unusable. The cheapest usable and compliant watch hours came from Google in-stream untargeted at 39 hour if you just need bulk hours from low CPM geos. But if you need quality watch hours from engaged viewers, Google in-feed at 95-cent hour was dramatically more efficient despite the higher initial view cost.
And the undisputed cheapest subscribers.
No contest there. YouTube promotions beta at 41.5 cents per subscriber. Nothing else came close for a legit subscriber acquisition cost.
Okay, so the data gives clear answers depending on your specific goal. Now, the big picture question, organic growth. After spending all this money, did Jones find any method that reliably kickstarted the algorithm or significantly boosted organic reach?
The verdict was pretty clear, no. While none of the methods seemed to actively kill organic growth, which is good, the amount of additional organic lift triggered by any of these paid campaigns was tiny.
Tiny.
He described it as so small that it's definitely not worth the investment. If organic lift is your main reason for buying views, you might get a handful of extra organic views triggered, but not enough to justify the ad spend.
So you can't really buy the algorithm's favor. Buying views doesn't translate into earned organic promotion at any significant scale.
Exactly. Buying views seems to be useful for very specific, direct goals. Hitting a subscriber number quickly and cheaply, YouTube promotions. Getting cost-effective quality watch hours, Google in-feed. Hitting a raw view count target for a client, untargeted in-stream. Or reaching a niche demographic, targeted in-stream. It's not a shortcut to sustainable, algorithm-driven channel growth.
It sounds like buying views is more like renting an audience for a specific purpose rather than building one organically.
That's a great way to put it. You're paying for temporary attention. The money might often be better spent focusing on those higher quality methods like in-feed ads, even if they cost more upfront per view, because they bring in more engaged viewers. Or, just investing that money back into making better content that the algorithm will promote organically.
So the big takeaway from this massive 5 million view experiment isn't necessarily that buying views is always bad, but that it's a tool with very specific applications and limitations. You won't magically make the algorithm love you.
Precisely. It has its place, maybe for hitting certain milestones or fulfilling specific requirements, but it's not the path to long-term YouTube success on its own. Organic growth still relies on, well, good videos that people genuinely want to watch and share.
And perhaps the final thought for you, the listener, is about efficiency. If you're going to spend money on ads, Jones's research highlights how crucial it is to pick the right tool for your specific goal. Spending $8,000 on the wrong type of Google ad campaign could yield wildly different and potentially much worse results than spending it smartly.
Absolutely. Why spend $142 for an hour of watch time with targeted in-stream when in-feed gets you potentially better quality watch time for under a dollar? Understanding these nuances is key to not wasting your budget. Choose wisely.
Thanks a lot for listening to this deep dive into the cost of YouTube growth. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to this channel, YouTube Evolution, and we'll see you in the next episode. Bye for now.